No, lemon casting.
No, we changed it. Lemon
Thanks for
casting.
reminding me
Okay.
to tell the people who won't be watching right now that due
Ah,
to
yes.
just some affiliate chicanery, is that the right word? That doesn't sound right. Chicanery? Charcuterie is the meat word thing.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans, let's go with that. Changed the,
Yes.
not just renamed, but actually changed to a different account with a new name for reasons to just
Right.
have affiliate status. So if you're watching this now, hearing this now, or watching this later somewhere, I guess, just know that it's twitch.tv/lemon not lemon productions, lemon podcasting. Turns out I have multiple lemon related accounts on Twitch alone, which I'll be clearing those out eventually. But for now, just to put up a please go here now. At one point, they used to have Twitch used to do like an automatic rebroadcast. I think it was called. It was kind of like if you weren't streaming, you could automatically stream someone else's channel on your channel. I think they got rid of that though. But
Did they?
anyways, like if
I
you
think.
go
Well, there's a thing like at the end of your stream, you can
raid,
raid somebody.
yeah, which I
And
should
I thought
remember.
the redirect was still there, but maybe not.
Yeah,
Maybe I just haven't noticed that they took it away.
we'll get to the bottom of that at the end. So how are you doing? You're looking slightly more
I'm good.
unpacked. I don't want to judge based
Yeah.
on my faulty
No, no,
memory.
no. Many fewer boxes. You can see the floor,
Yeah,
which is nice. The bar is still packed, but we're making progress.
I was
We're
gonna
making
say
progress.
we need the liquor box
You
update.
know? Yeah.
Is that
Still,
the far back corner?
still
It's
packed.
moved since last time.
Oh, that's right. It was over there last time.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's moved. I think that's going to be its home, but we're not entirely sure yet. So,
yeah,
still packed.
I see. Is that a boat on the top of the like a over
Oh,
your
yes.
left shoulder up there?
It's a little. I don't know. An uncle gave that to me. It
Okay.
looks good on the top of a shelf.
Yeah. Not so good for sailing down the Hudson.
No.
Is that the river that you're near, or the?
Well, we
Oh,
have two rivers. We have the Hudson and the East River. And if you're a West Wing fan, you'll know that the Hudson is actually not a river at all. It is an estuary
hmm,
because it's
that's
deeper than the body of water it flows into.
interesting. Is that an important plot point
Yeah.
that we just spoiled, or is that just a?
No, just, Sorkin-esque pedantry.
Yeah, still on my list of things to watch. I have not watched it since we last talked about that. So, if there's anybody actually out there watching, can you comment and just I guess let us know that it's working. It looks like it's working, but as long as you're at the right address. And then also because we're going to be talking about domain names, this is the topic for the primary topic for the today. I'll just get people's attention with the. It's probably
Okay.
loud, too loud, hey. Anyways, hopefully you didn't have the volume up in your office somewhere. Um,
No.
we might try. We'll see how this could work. There's actually a way that we can do like call-ins. You have to click a link and then you just basically type in your little name and then you become just like Tim here as a guest on theoretically on this show. And so we'll see if that could work. So prepare yourself. Maybe if you need to do your makeup or cut your hair or get your domain name list ready. We'll maybe jump
Yeah.
to that if we
Do that real fast.
run out of things to do here, and if the technology works. That's the other part that has to behave, of course. So I'm just like resizing windows here in a weird way. It always makes me nervous when there's like a live streaming window. I don't fully trust what actually is going to happen. So, okay, so you presented this idea of like, and I think it's fairly well known within like tech circles, anyways, dev nerds, web nerds, of buying and registering domain names for ideas, and then I've heard there's a conversation of unused domain names here. I guess you called out 99% of techies. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's therapy session here for bring out your domain names. And registering a domain name because you have a brilliant idea for a thing, whether it's like it's going to make me $1 million or it's just a hobby thing that could be fun to build, a website, a streaming empire, I don't know, blog. And so you register the domain name basically first, right? Like almost first before you start any real thought process. You just like go and make sure that the domain name is available.
Usually. Yeah. Because
And then,
well, I don't know how it works for other people, but for me, like the name usually is like the thing that's like, oh, that makes it real, right?
right. Yeah,
So I immediately will go see if the name is available.
right. And if it's not,
Yeah.
then you sometimes pivot to new idea. What is going on? Sorry, my screen is being all goofy here. Sometimes pivot to new idea, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah. There's usually some variation. Like there's so many TLDs nowadays. There's usually some variation of the idea that will work.
Yeah,
I only really get picky if it's like something I think I'm gonna actually try and market. Do you know what I
right.
mean?
Like you'll happily pivot to something else if the main one is not available.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, we've got Ashley in the
Like I
chat
have,
saying Giphy or Tenor will want to buy Gifly.com. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I had a few over
yeah,
the. I don't have them registered anymore. I've given up on a lot of my. Oh, that'll be a brilliant idea. The one I registered actually was that I just thought of was a. So Kijiji, you have Kijiji in the States, right? It's like an eBay spinoff, sort of a cheap eBay.
I think I know the name, but I couldn't have told you what it was
K I
until you
G
just told
J
me.
I G J I. Sorry, I said
Yeah,
that really
I
awkwardly,
think I've
but
seen the name, and I probably knew it was an eBay
and so I had set
thing at
up.
one point, but I couldn't
Uh,
have told.
yeah, it's like a cheaper version of selling locally or whatever. Um, and I'd set up a Kijiji. It doesn't really roll off the tongue. It makes sense when you see it typed out KijijiIdiots.com and then set it up to a Tumblr,
Yeah,
thinking, oh, this would be funny. I'll just post dumb crap that people post
right.
for sale on
Yeah,
Kijiji. And like
yeah.
within, I want to say days, but maybe realistically it was weeks, they had sent me a cease and desist on the domain before I'd even posted anything. Just
That's
the domain
funny.
name itself was enough to trigger. So I could very quickly just
Interesting.
was
I
that's
wonder
fine.
what kind of process they have running to actually catch that sort of thing.
Yeah, like if they've got because they'd have to be scanning the recently registered TLDs at some level or some
Hmm.
company.
Oh yeah, like there's got to be a big giant list that you can pay somebody to keep an eye on it for you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So have you
part of
ever
like
gotten
a trademark package of services.
a lawyer letter for
I
a
don't
domain?
think I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. Um, I did get. I got. I think the closest I've gotten was just last week. I got an email from. So I run a website uh, that's like a recipe sharing website, which doesn't do much except help create backlinks for food bloggers. Um, and I did get a letter from one of them recently complaining about one of the other users on my site who happens to apparently, according to them, to have been like ripping off their recipes and their photos and stuff
Oof.
and
Yeah.
asking me. And they were like, they were getting legal stuff up and running and they were just asking me if I wouldn't mind taking their account down. So I
Right.
took a look at it and made my own judgment, and I did end up taking it down because it looked like a lot of their stuff is also AI generated, which is not what we
Yeah.
should be about.
Not in the spirit of what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your recipe site again for anybody who wants to? Are you?
So that's called trivet.recipes. Yeah. Over COVID, a couple of friends and I had some big dreams of starting a food blogging empire.
Yes.
Because like back in the day, like in the late aughts, science was really popular, and a science media company hired us to build scienceblogs.com. And so when COVID came up and we had not much else to do, we were like, oh, we should do that again. But as we worked through it, the blogosphere has changed enough that the like that particular business model wasn't going to work, which
Right.
was a shame because it was pretty easy to set up, and now it's a lot more difficult.
I don't want to alarm
Not from a
you.
technology standpoint, but from like a from a um, like food blogs are their own brands now. They're not going to be happy to be lumped in with a whole bunch of other food blogs.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not loading in Canada, but that let's just blame Trump for that. We'll say.
Oh, True Recipes isn't loading.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to send you on a panic right now as we're live.
We've been the site's been getting hammered by bots recently, actually,
Mm,
and I keep having to like tweak the settings, and I have not.
yeah. It's
This is the first time
that's
I'm
fine.
taking a look today. So, I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's
Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
oh, that just loaded for me, but it
okay.
did take a good 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, plus the tariffs and everything. So,
No, yeah, exactly. The bandwidth tariffs are going to be terrible.
hello, Binary. Welcome here. We're going to be, if anybody's out there, I said earlier, oh, there we go. Just popped in. This is, I wish I hadn't eaten too much at lunch. This all looks really good, except I'm feeling really full from too much bagel.
Yeah, there's so many good, like food blogging is like a legit option for somebody who needs some kind of alternative work from home business.
Yeah.
And like, it's not easy, it's difficult, and it's a lot of work. But if you are able to publish consistently and get any sort of, SEO juice and any sort of readership, you can make a few bucks.
Do you,
and then, of course, some people have really made it big.
Do you ban people from publishing a 16 paragraph story before you get to the recipe, or is that encouraged?
No. That is sadly an artifact of the SEO environment that we live in. Like Google wants that extra juice, because it thinks for whatever reason that it makes the page more compelling. It does not, but Google still wants it, and so it's there. Which is why on 90% of all the recipes, we'll have a little jump to the recipe link at the top, so you can skip all that.
Right. And you are linking. Sorry, this is very way off the tangent from domain names, but are you linking just to their site, or do you actually have your own?
Just linking to their site.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
It's very basic. It doesn't add a whole lot of value for them, but it like, especially if you're starting out, just getting any backlinks is helpful.
Yeah.
At all.
Definitely.
And we started it to kind of get our foot in the door in the food blogging world, and just kind of making food bloggers aware of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can use that networking to hopefully sell them some food blogging services.
Yeah. I'm guessing maybe my kids just started streaming 16 channels of YouTube because you went all Skypey for a second there. A little bit of a digital harmony going on. So, it's like the skip intro from the old days. We'll let's see. Bring out what do you got, Tim? What's how do you want? Do you want to go first? Do you want to like present one idea? I only have a couple.
I just did one.
So, that is one. Like you consider that a domain name?
Well, it's not an abandoned project, but
yeah. See, that's where I think that's you've transcended the therapy need for that domain name, anyways, because that's completed. You went all the way to completion on that. Didn't necessarily make you rich.
Well, I suppose in the spirit of our discussion today, I can tell you. Hold on one second. I also I let some of these expire, but I also have owned trivet.blog, trivet.design, trivet.dev, trivet.guide, trivet.link, trivet.social, trivetmag.com. And the crowning jewel is triv.et.
Oh,
that one actually costs a little bit of money.
Estonia?
Eritrea.
Oh. Oh, you do have it actually still registered though, right?
Yeah.
Or
because I've got some email addresses assigned to it.
That's the classic.
Unfortunately. And I might have to let it go because we have kind of abandoned most of our dreams, and it's not worth $250 a year anymore.
Oh, that's what we should have, the category of like, how long have you had it for? How long or how much it is it each year? Binary says last year I was up to 18 domain names and I'm down to 4. See, there we have a success story. Well, it's not our success story, but it's her success story. But
I have just this year I started letting these go. So like I think at least 2/3 of those I don't own any longer, or at least I've set them to expire.
Yeah, that's a nice little design you've got on it. But
yeah, that's my partner's mic doing. It was pretty great.
So Trivet
we
is
were
like
talking about branding slightly either last week or last time we spoke or something, but like Trivet is one of those things I was particularly pleased about. Like trivet.com obviously was not available, but I was able to get creative with triv.et.
Yeah. Even if
I felt was cool enough.
At a substantial cost to your life savings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who needs life savings these days anyways?
Yeah.
Yes. If you're letting them expire, you get a cookie, a therapy cookie of some sorts, I think.
Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know.
I posted this on Blue Sky too about us doing this, and some folks replied there saying Spencer's asked, how do I get into domain name squatting and how do I become a millionaire off of it? I'm sure that still happens. Do you think that still happens? I'm guessing it has to still occasionally.
I think it still happens to a degree, certainly not what it was back in the day.
Like, not like Microsoft letting Microsoft or Xbox expire or whatever it was that one year, and
oh yeah,
that level
like
of stuff,
that sort of thing. That sort of thing, I think they can just sue you to get it back, especially like a large brand like that.
Right.
But like, remember in like the mid-aughts, people were going crazy. Like somebody bought business.com for $7 million.
Right. Yeah.
Is the one that always comes to mind.
And I still see some, like, even if it's for vanity reasons, not like a company name, but like, because I think even as tech nerds and developers, people who get rich off of coding or development or web stuff, then want to buy some random domain and find it's already in use.
I think there is still, and I think there are people who still make a decent amount of money off of domains, but it's mostly volume.
Right.
So like they have to get lucky that somebody wants hexagonbikes.com or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So like next year when Microsoft comes out with their new Trivet based devices instead of Xbox, they rebrand or whatever, you're going to be, yeah. I've got all the Trivet stuff locked up. Alex had said app-app.app is one he's been wanting to pitch for business-business.biz. It is registering domain names is an important thing. An important part of that exercise is to say it out loud and just make sure it makes sense audibly, especially back like if you're podcasting, but also just obviously if you're telling a friend, here's my website. And
my very first domain was a 3-letter domain, o2b.net. So the letter O, the number 2, and the letter B.net. And I quickly realized it was a big mistake because
you still have it,
all 3 one of those letters can be a word in and of itself. So I have to explain it just that way every time. Letter O, the number 2, the letter B.net. It was a huge mistake.
I mean,
it looks with it for a long time.
It would look good on a shirt or a sticker or like whatever. Like if that's
like and nice it is short. Like it expresses like a heartfelt sentiment. Or optimistic something. O to be whatever, but no, from a domain and branding and marketing perspective, it was a huge mistake. Even just as a personal piece of personal branding, it was wrong. So I think about 5 or 6 years ago, I finally gave up on using that as my primary email address and just moved everything over to murtaugh@gmail.com.
Yeah. There we go. Where was I? Ashley, who was in the chat here, said HM. Maybe they'll respond or comment if they're still watching. I'm pretty sure HMBTBMH. What? I don't know if that's how. Can anybody decipher what that might mean? I don't know. For some reason, I picture. Oh yeah, bloke British. Maybe it's a British thing. HMBTBMH. So I'm nervous to like Google things randomly. Only I'm sure Ashley's a nice person.
I'm not. Okay.
Yeah, you're not sharing screen.
What is it? HMBT.
HMBTBMH. I mean, I can load that domain is set up as at a host or something. Nothing's been done.
Doesn't seem to be anything in particular.
Okay.
I bet it stands for something that we're unaware of.
Yes, probably. So we'll. Alan said, just saw Discord is having API latency issues. Might be what caused the robot. Oh, yeah. We're not directly connected to Discord, but could be. So, okay. So that's some of the replies that we saw, or I saw anyways, come in over on Blue Sky for domain name ideas.
What about you? What's in your domain closet?
So let's go in my list. Oh, wait. Sorry. I just saw Binary's comment here. My.com is 20. What? 20,000? Oh, to buy now. Sorry. I thought you were paying for it right now as it was at $20,000. It's like, oh man, that's, you're doing well. I see what you mean. Binarydigit.com, I'm assuming, is already registered and would be $20,000, which yes, if it's, yeah, she said to buy. So mine, like, so I I legitimately let a bunch expire just like a year ago. So I don't even have, maybe they still showed up. I should have gone into like, no, it's all status. So just recently, last year, this time we had local elections and I did like a findmymla.org thing just so that people could redirect. It would just redirect it to a political site that had some stupid long URL as political wonks do. And so I just set up a quick redirect that basically pointed people to that for the election season and then let it expire once that was over. And I didn't even track how many hits or whatever. It's just kind of like a fun little $15, I think, experiment with the .org. So that's pretty harmless. I don't think I need to spend an hour at therapy for that one. My domain name for my business, obviously, that's a no-brainer, .ca, lemonproductions.ca, which I've been doing for 10 plus years now. A bunch of the ones there that are blurred are client sites, so I just didn't want to, show those off on their site. And then my personal site, chrisenz.com, is where my blog is, and that I've had since I don't know when, as long as I've been on the internet almost. I snapped that one up right away. There's quite a few other Chris Enzes who get annoyed at me every so often, or like when Facebook had usernames, I remember, and I grabbed Chris Enz on Facebook, and there was a guy who kept messaging me every year asking for it, and but anyways, and then so my domain name, yeah, exactly. I'm still here. My domain name experiment gone wrong was our podcast network, goodstuff.network, which sounds kind of fun and nice. Now, was originally called goodstuff.fm, and I've told a version of this story before.
Yes.
But it was goodstuff.fm at one point, and then we let it expire because .fm is very expensive compared to .network, and it is a podcast network, so it was like, cool, we'll just switch. Nobody gets harmed, no whatever. But of course, a porn site took over goodstuff.fm, and the entire internet was... And we had gone through the work of like, I tried to find every redirect, but I wasn't really concerned because I thought, whatever, it goes away. We didn't have a ton of listeners. Right. But there was like, I forgot I'd set up like a subreddit for the site. So then there's a whole subreddit with like every linked, because we'd done back then you could very easily automate.
Right.
Yeah, post in Reddit, all your things. And then, so like, whatever it was, 300 entries, let's say, on Reddit, all pointing to porn. So, and I'm the owner of that subreddit. That's just like,
well, that backlink value seems to have expired because it no longer resolves anymore.
Oh, really? For the .fm?
So they let it go. Yeah.
Okay. Whew. See, now I'm tempted to go back. Actually, the email thing is funny because I there's lots of sites where I forgot how many sites I'd used that .fm email address to register for, and then ended up having to either delete my account or claim ignorance and get back in. So then I have two that are kind of just like redirects now. Again, having let a bunch go over the years. lemonaudio.club was like, maybe I'll do a course and teach how to podcast edit. And it was is that allowed? A vehicle?
Oh yeah, something going by.
Lemon Audio Club was, and it still is a site that's active-ish. I don't know what I'm going to do with it exactly, but that's all it is right now. And little 11D starter on Netlify, but and then lemonpodcasting.com was like, well, maybe if I pivot from, so my business name Lemon Productions was named after actually a U2 song called Lemon, and I was originally going to do more video work, do a lot more audio work. So I thought maybe I should focus in on Lemon Podcasting even if my legal name is still Lemon Productions locally here, I could just use that branding. But I never did really bother switching over, and so now it just redirects eventually to my business site. So I think actually I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling pretty smug.
You're doing pretty good. My list is very long, but most of them are expired, because like the list I'm looking at are like the list of domains in my web host that at one point have been connected to the web host.
Right.
And so like I may let the domain expire, but there's really no reason to remove the reference to the web host. It's just like an archive of what has happened.
A couple of comments up here. Alan asks, the idea of Alan? The id of Alan? Anyways, have you all ever experimented with using subdomains instead of full domains for ideas? Yes. So that's actually what I was going to say back with my own personal site. Rather than setting up domain names for every single idea I come across, I just use subdomains now. And so then like my Night Brain is like a podcast idea I've had for a long time, is just at my personal site. and using transistor.fm's hosting. So the site is there, it's on the internet, but I didn't have to go through the trouble of registering the domain. Same thing with my business, air quotes, business podcast is similar idea of podcast.lemonproductions.ca rather than setting up a whole new domain name for it. And that revelation, I guess, or whatever you want to call that, is definitely helps save me time and money. And being okay with a subdomain. It used to be like there's the idea of maybe it would be punished in SEO search results or whatever if it's a subdomain, but I feel like that's, if the site is popular enough, doesn't really matter. But
yeah, I think so.
I haven't kept up with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think it means you made it to the big time when your old site gets taken over. Yeah. Although it didn't feel like the big time. It felt like the sleazy, whatever.
Yeah.
Porn store had moved in next door.
I'm clicking through some of my domains of yesteryear. One of them is chomper.com without the E.
Chomper?
Chomper.
Oh, Chomp.
Which I'm
safe?
guessing you can guess which era. Oh yeah, but a few of them are now in this resale. So somebody now wants $5,400 for this domain because it's brandable. And check out the like AI generated logo up there.
Nice, yeah, totally.
It's so
just the double
obviously
M.
Chaotic. Yeah.
That was like the Flickr era, or
Pac-Man with teeth. Yeah, exactly.
Post Flickr, yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna do like a food blog back in the day.
Oh yeah,
of our own. Like this was literally like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Some of these.
Okay, next one.
Next one. Let's see. I have easymenus.io, which I bought because I had an idea to set up basically content management systems for. Is that actually?
Is that actually you?
Oh yeah, somebody.
Or no, someone else.
Yeah. No, this is not me, but this is literally the business we were looking to start. Somebody else did it. Yeah. Good for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So like this is before like so many restaurants now have TV menus, and this was before that, and we were going to set up a CMS to make that easier.
Yeah. The QR codes. I wonder what that's interesting. It's probably a custom. It was conceived of in early 2024, scheduled to go online as of October of 2024. So not quite ready yet. Looks like they maybe missed their window, but
they got farther than we did. So
yes, yeah.
Kudos to them.
They got the artwork even too. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up,
I had Desker.co.
Desker,
which we were going to make like a schedule, like a website that would let you schedule time to buy a desk somewhere in the city. You know what I mean?
So
like I've got a few desks. I can rent it out on an hourly basis, and you can sign up for it on the website.
Yeah. Looks like someone was it. I don't imagine you were using Wix. That doesn't seem like a thing you do.
No, it is not. You are correct. I'm glad that you know me at least that well. Here's a fun one. Do I still own this?
I'm trusting you to verify that they're not full screen porn before I go to them. But
GameRobin.com.
GameRobin
was an idea I was working on with my brother-in-law. We were going to like build a library of board games and then be the Netflix of board games.
Oh, looks like I don't want to different language site, anyways, with still a Robin at the top.
It looks like Chinese. Still a Robin.
Might be illegal things, possibly.
I have no idea. But that particular business model turned out to be a little tricky. That guy's revving his engines out there again. Because like games have a lot of little pieces, and what do you do when they get lost? And like somebody like breaks something, and replacing those pieces is a big annoyance. And
so it'd be like a local library of sorts for games within.
So it's one of those ideas that seems easy. Literally we'd have like a big room full of games, and you like. This was when Netflix used to send you DVDs. We would send you games.
Oh, right. Gotcha. Yes. I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you do when the person's paying you $20 a month or whatever for a subscription, and they forget to send back the red whatever in Settlers of Catan? And
like all the meeples or whatever.
Yeah. Do you go sue them? Do you?
Yeah. So like we were like, do we like simplify all the pieces so they're a little less custom to each game so you can reuse them, and or like do you 3D print the pieces for replacements, or
Yeah.
it just turned out to be too much of a hassle.
That's where often let's just acknowledge that in our therapy session here that nerds tend to think technology will solve all the issues with a problem and have
Yeah.
less experience with the human side of said problem than they're willing to admit. Is that fair to say?
For sure.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. And if you're like an actual technologist who's interested in user experience, it's great to have the idea, but then you have to obviously think it out, which is why most of these domains have fallen by the wayside, because it might have been a good idea. It
Yeah.
wasn't a practical idea
Yeah. Because
for
now there's like
logistical purposes.
even thinking like the, what are those called? Oh, escape room. There's often like escape rooms, and then they have a board game room area that has a bunch of board games in it. And so you go there and you can play there, which,
Sure.
but yes. Anyways, neat idea though.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these are like on the surface could have been good ideas, but for one reason or another, just wasn't right for us or didn't turn out to be actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another one of my earliest domains, pirated-sites.com.
Pirated sites, pirated.
Yeah, it was actually pirated-sites.com because pirated sites was actually taken. But I like had like it was like I suppose I would have called it a blog at one point, but it was like it predated blogs where I would like put up examples of website designs that had obviously been stolen from some other website.
Right. And like sort of commentary on like a way of sort of showing your expertise in web design.
Yeah.
And related activities.
And it did get me kind of like my foot in the door in like the A List Apart crowd, who like Jeffrey Zeldman noticed that website, and I met him at a conference and like, oh, I like that website. And so like in the early days, those personal projects were incredibly important in terms of making sure people knew who you were, what you were about, and like what you were interested in.
Yeah. Okay, so I put up on the screen. I'm not going to post the link anywhere. And so it's awkward to try and type this out. But if someone's brave enough and wants to try out the technology, call my.show / that weird list of characters is what you can call, and you'll see well, Tim, you can probably describe it better than I can because I've never experienced the other side of this. What do people see if they click that link?
It's a very simple eCam page, which is mostly black with the video up in the top, a little thumbnail of your own camera, and then some very basic controls. And then it says either you're on the air or you're not on the air yet.
Yeah. So it'll be like it's a web-based, I'm using the Mac app called eCam Live to stream, and then you'd get a web-based interface to like, I think you can type your name in, right? I didn't type your name in, so you must be able to do that if you want.
At some point, yeah. But I think it remembers.
Yeah. The internet remembers. So we'll see how that works. Obviously, it does actually punt people into a green room first, so you're not just going to be on the air, not like your screen's going to take over the screen. We'll do something like this, like you'll be over on my left, your right.
Yeah.
We can even do two people if we wanted to. But anyways, we'll start with one and see if that goes. So if you have a domain name that you want to enter into therapy with Tim and I as licensed therapists, unlicensed, our therapy license has expired, actually. I guess we let that one lapse too.
The insurance was too expensive.
Yeah, it was a dot. What was the one you were paying? $250. The .et domain.
.et. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is too expensive. So, okay. Anyway, do you have another one after pirated sites?
I could go on forever.
Pick your either most expensive. Do you have any some of the most expensive ones you've paid into?
I do. Just about 6 or 9 months ago, mylastname.com finally became available, and I paid $1,500 for it.
$1,500. Whoa! But then after that, is that right? Did I spell it right?
That's right.
Okay,
yeah. That's correct.
So then,
so I'm trying to get my family to sign up for email addresses, and so that's
gotcha. Yeah. You got an
of
ODAM for
collecting
binder.
their information. Yeah,
That's neat. So, but then after that, it's $20 a year, right? So
it's whatever, like 12 or 14 or whatever. Yeah,
yeah,
it's the standard price from then on. It's just the upfront price of prying it out of some squatter's hands.
yeah. So you made the squatter somewhat rich, or at least for that month
Yeah,
or whatever. So,
but like 20 years ago, it was like some CAD cam company, and then like 10 years ago, it was like the personal blog of some Vietnam vet who apparently let it go about a year ago, and I finally noticed and picked it up.
neat.
Will it be worth $1,500 to anybody else? Probably not.
No.
Will it be worth it to me? Maybe, if I can get my family to start using it.
That's a whole subgenre. I was going to say subgenre of, but technology evangelizing to your family about a certain thing or way of doing things.
Yeah, the younger cousins, unsurprisingly, are more interested than the older aunts and uncles.
Right. Which is pretty cool for like I would guess a lot of my nieces and nephews would be uninterested in worrying about what their domain name address would be, or their address would be on their domain name for their email. So it's impressive that at least you get a little bit of cred out of that deal. So, all right, we have a caller. So let's see what happens here. So Alan, you're there. I think you're in the green room. I don't know if you can hear us.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. And let's go to this screen here.
Oh,
and
awesome.
We'll assign him to guest 2. Hey, it worked. There we go. Look at us.
Hey, hello.
Technology.
Hey.
Yeah. I'm on the internet. Hooray.
So where in the world, without spelling out your address, where are you calling from, first of all?
Yeah, I'm in Florida in the United States.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily a Florida man. I've not yet ended up in papers for being a Florida man. I try not to. But yeah, so in there.
That's fair. That's good. I like.
That's a very specific thing.
Yeah, a common declaration you have to make.
You have to be a little upfront about that sometimes with people, because there's some indications sometimes that people give you when they hear that you're in Florida, and you kind of want to like make sure that you're dancing in front of that instead of behind it.
Right. Yeah. They don't leave with the impression that you are that guy who wrestled an alligator and then whatever.
I'm not saying I've never done something that could have landed me in the newspaper. I'm just saying I've never been in the newspapers.
Right. You haven't been caught. Yeah.
Distinctly. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks for clarification. We won't ask any more questions than that.
I appreciate that.
What's your domain name that you or even couple that you've registered that you're needing therapy for?
So I probably had about 40 at one point. But I'm mainly here. You're talking about subdomains just a second ago. I'm mainly here to preach the idea of the subdomain. It was a dramatic shift for me to figure out that, like, oh, I can do subdomains or whatever. I wrote a fun little article about it a long time ago that really kind of clicked. Netlify had done a dusty domains thing. Do you remember when Netlify did that?
Yeah. Yeah. Jason, I remember it was being,
Yeah. And so one of the things that they said was basically, if you have a domain name that hasn't been around and you put something on it, we'll give $500 to charity. And like, that sounded awesome. But then somebody asked them if you could like do new domains. And they're like, yeah, sure. So like, I just made like hacking.alanwsmith.com, which is nothing but like a GIF of somebody like typing. And that was $500 to charity. So that kind of got me going and just kept going and kept going and kept going with the subdomains thing. So I'm a preacher of that, basically.
Nice. Yeah, that was a fun little project they did, and definitely highlighted. I think that was one of the things. Definitely, like I was aware of it before, but definitely helped reinforce. Not that they weren't specifically promoting subdomains, but it was definitely just like dusting off your old used domain names that you're not actually using, and how easy it would be just like to set something out quickly with Netlify at the time, which it still is, right. I'm sure. But and then their interface, there's a couple of my sites that I still have, I think. Well, yeah, the lemonaudio.club is on Netlify. And so their admin panel is super easy for managing subdomains and domains and whatever, I find anyways.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I probably have.
I've never actually used Netlify, but it's one of those things I'm aware of.
Yeah. They've kind of been I don't know what the word is, marketing awareness surpassed with like Vercel and stuff, right? I think is that fair to say? I only edit the podcast. I don't actually work in the business. So Don't
I don't follow it enough to know the answer. I happen to be on Netlify. They work for me. I got on them a while ago.
Yeah.
But haven't really needed to do anything else.
At one point in my life, I was editing their podcast. So that's why, and like a bunch of the folks who have since moved on, I think. But anyways, Binary says Netlify has been good when I made my own site. Yeah, it's a great little host. Very easy to quickly throw up a HTML file or do something complicated if you know how to do that kind of stuff. So
I was going to ask, is Netlify, they're a straight up web host, or are they like a web host for specific packages, technology packages?
Well, don't have to quote me here, but because I only know enough to be dangerous, but they are a web host, but then they actually you can run all sorts of crazy apps on them and fairly powerful kind of stuff. Like I know my,
right.
What's the site I use? Like I always forget, lunchmoney.app. Hopefully this doesn't open up my budget.
Okay. So they're like optimized for quote unquote modern web stacks.
Yes. Yeah. Like you could run an Astra site, I believe on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like this budget site that I use, Lunch Money, I know famously is hosted on Netlify, and it's like what they used to call Jamstack app, basically. So static site generator. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. So, but okay, let me see if I can make sure I get back to the right window. I don't have a shortcut key. There we go. Oh, but we lost. Oh, I hope I didn't hang up on him. Or did he leave? Oh, Alan is joining again. Here we go.
Yeah.
Probably that was me.
Was it okay? I'm not sure. It could have been me, but yeah.
The whole subdomain thing is, of course, totally valid and obviously a cost-effective way to go. I definitely use it in my business for like whenever I have, a client for my web business, I'll set up a subdomain for the client, and that's where they can see the stuff that they're working on for them.
Yeah.
But there's something about like, oh, I have an idea. There's something about buying a domain for it that helps it become real.
Yeah.
At least for people like me who like a little immediate gratification or immediate confirmation that this is a good idea.
Yeah. I think to the average
domain, it must be a good idea.
Exactly. I was gonna say like to my parents or to somebody like non-techie, it wouldn't matter if it's a subdomain or not. They would still think it's cool, but
Absolutely.
tweak that. But like for you and I and web nerds, there's something about you shelled out the $15 or $1,500 does it maybe or whatever for the .com or the .et especially, and that makes it official. It's like you've registered your business or something, even though there's way less required to do register a domain name.
Yeah.
It does feel a lot fancier. So, all right, Alan, any last words before I'm going to try actually hanging up on you and see what happens, but I'll give you.
I was just going to say, if you want to check out, so I've got links.alanwsmith.com. I just threw it in the guest chat. I don't know if you saw that. So just talking tech for a second about the thing. Did you know there's a guest chat in there?
I didn't. Now I do. I see it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see it.
But I just threw a link in there to check out the. The one more.
Oh my God! The Twitch chat is in there too. Holy crap!
So Tim's just having a revelation. So that's like that's one of your subdomains, and then lists all your. Holy cow! You've got a few. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
you really went in on the subdomain.
Yeah, and like to the point, like again, where I'm kind of promoting them in terms of the idea of it. Like I made one that's 867-5309.com or .alanwsmith.com, and the only thing that's on there is that video, right? It's the whole idea of just like whenever you have any idea for even the smallest, silliest thing, just like fire up a subdomain and run with it. It's so much fun.
Yes. Yes, I very much agree with that, and especially, again, whether it's Netlify or whatever, if you get a domain name registrar that makes it super easy to add subdomains, because some of them can be confusing, and so if that's like, if it's confusing, then maybe it's worth switching off to a different registrar just for that purpose.
It should be easy.
Yeah, like Cloudflare, Netlify. I think others, I'm sure, make it super easy to set that.
Yeah, I'm not promoting Netlify specifically, but I can spin up a new subdomain on them in about 5 minutes.
I use DreamHost as my primary cheap web hosting service, and it's super easy to set up subdomains.
Cool. Awesome.
All right, see if you can hang up on me now.
Yeah.
See if it works.
Okay. So, all right. Okay. on purpose that time we hung up on Alan.
Well done.
That's GitHub pages, Codeberg pages. Oh, I haven't heard of the Codeberg pages. What's that? There's I'm sure there's 1,010,000 of them.
Yeah.
We got rid of Alan. Success.
Yeah. I do have some domains that I'm still like hoping will work out. My favorite is burplibrary.com.
Burp?
Still want to make that happen. Yeah. Burp library.
As in what's going to be there?
What do you think is going to be there?
Well, the obvious would be like a sound effects library of burps, but
you got it.
That seems a little too on the nose. It's right.
That's the idea.
Wow. So I could swap out my DJ air horn for.
Yeah, I suppose that would be a good game. Actually, is what is the domain you bought, and then get other people to guess what you were going to do with it.
Yeah, because like Chomper, like your other one,
you could probably get there.
Yeah, but only because I knew you're into recipes and whatever. I don't know if I would have got there if I didn't know that about you. I might have thought it's like a Pac-Man fan club or I don't know, something else. Yeah. Teeth.
What about hockeyreader.com?
Hockeyreader.com.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything there. There was
hockey news, like an aggregator of hockey news.
The guy I have historically been working with, his name is Mike, and he is from Canada, and he wanted to set up a hockey blog. And so that was his domain. It was hockeyreader.com.
That would go well. My friend Spencer, who sometimes watches and listens, and replies on Blue Sky. He's a big hockey. He does still write for Detroit Red Wings in some capacity. So anyways, if there's anybody out there who wants to try calling in, even just for 2 minutes like Alan did, we've got about 10 minutes left to be just for fun to try it out. Feel free to type that link in. I guess I can't point at the screen at the same time. Anyway, so that's hockeyreader.com. Anything else?
Yeah, there used to be something nice there. I don't know why it's not showing up. Like he got a start, and it was a really great looking design. I think it was partly an exercise in design, just as much as anything else. But
yeah, Binary. Yeah, I know you would actually put us to shame in terms of your setup. Binary Digit, by the way, streamer on Twitch, fun gaming. What's like? There's a whole genre of like cozy gaming, casual gaming, but also like murder and violence.
Murder.
Sure. Not murder, like not literal, like running around killing each other games. You know what I mean? I'm sure I'm doing a great job of selling our channel.
We don't usually refer to it as murder when we're playing the game.
Right. In Canada, we do because we're honest about what we're doing. Okay. Cozy Chaos, yes. So they have a whole fun Discord crew as well as live streaming on Twitch and stuff. So
awesome.
Adventure games, shooter, multiplayer. Yes. Shooters and multiplayer adventure games. That's the better description than murdering each other. So, cool. Did you have any other ones, Tim, before we shut her down?
I'll save some for another day.
Okay.
I don't want to give you all the good stuff. Yeah.
Goodstuff.fm. Now I can safely say that. Actually, that's funny because I have...
yeah.
Oh, I wonder.
It's not available. I already checked, but no longer is it redirecting.
Okay. I was going to say, I ordered like a ton of stickers. I have a t-shirt that we did, Goodstuff.fm t-shirt, and all of them suddenly I could not wear or put anywhere. I had like stickers on like my guitar amp, and so I was like quickly scraping all that stuff off. So yeah, don't let them go. Yeah. Don't let them expire if you think it might be even remotely of interest to a porn site, which I don't know how you'd know. I guess Good Stuff. Well, anyways, we don't have to spend too long on that one. That could be a whole another subgenre of podcasts or domain therapy. Is my domain name expired and nefarious company X took it over. Yeah. Cool beans. All right, thanks everybody for watching. And every Thursday-ish, most Thursdays, not every Thursday, we'll say most Thursdays around this time, we have a little chat about whatever's going on in the world. And thank you for watching if you're out there, and tell all your friends or something. I don't know. All right.
Tell someone.
Tell some.
See you.
Tell an enemy. And thanks to Alan for joining. Bye.